Here's my friend. Hello.
I'm so technically challenged. I'm so technically challenged that it's actually kind of scary, but
It looks fabulous.
thank you. It's day 3. I'm hoping it makes it through day 4 because I have stuff I have to do tomorrow and I just don't want to go get my hair done
Oh,
before then.
it was a blow dry?
No, I got my roots done. I
Oh,
got my grays done and my
oh,
hairdresser, I mean, he's been my
oh, it looks
hairdresser for
beautiful.
years.
You just
I
gotta,
know, isn't it ridiculous?
it's amazing. And
I dipped my hair in my
oh,
coffee this morning.
on purpose?
No, I was like, why is my fucking hair wet? Why does it smell
Oh,
like
not on
it
purpose.
smells like
Not on
coffee.
purpose. What looks great, if you wanted to stay, just got to put on a ponytail in one of these loose hair bands when you sleep
Yeah.
and you take it
Yep.
out, it's very
That and those,
luxurious.
I'm thinking about maybe investing in one of those satin turban things that people put in
Yes.
their hair that
Yeah.
like, I don't know. I'll
Hot,
see just how far
hot.
I'm willing to
Jack will
go.
love that.
Oh, it's such
Hi,
a nice look,
Owen.
right?
Hi, Owen.
Hi.
Congratulations.
I'm
I
so
have little
excited.
papers in my favorite part. Yeah.
Good.
So this is a beautiful story that Owen wrote about her
Thank you.
mom, Mama Cass. And that's what I mean, we could just talk about hair.
No, we don't have to do that. Let's not talk about hair. But
Yeah.
tell me what you're thinking.
So
Are you done with the book? Are
I
you
am halfway
part
through.
way?
I
Uh-huh.
am halfway through because I am a slow reader. And when I read something I really love, I go back and I read it again and again. And there was,
Mm,
I feel like I'm really getting to know her, which is, I mean, you must be happy to hear that. I feel like,
that's exactly my intent,
yeah.
you know? So
Um,
yes, I'm very happy to hear that.
so, putting this book out around Mother's Day, I think is a beautiful thing. It did not even,
Coincidence. Coincidence. Nobody planned that. At
yeah,
least I don't think they did. I
that's
think
nice to
everybody is,
know.
it's kind of like a happy, what did Bob Ross call them? Happy accidents.
Right. Right. Now, if you had,
Yeah.
your PR person would probably say that, you should have planned it that way, but you didn't, which is really kind of Bashert kind of kiss.
Yeah, I think so, for
Um,
sure.
and I'm
Yeah.
sure she feels that, and she feels the Mother's Day love, regardless of what she's
And
done.
they do. They do. You know, it's I actually have 2 ladies that are working on this project separately, which is kind of, oh, China's calling. No, live later, sweetheart. Um, and they're both working really hard. But now I'm starting to see that they're pitching television, which is exactly what I want. Like
Yeah.
we've really gotten some fantastic coverage in terms
Oprah,
of
Oprah.
oh, if Oprah was still around, yeah, for sure. I mean, she's still around, but I mean, if Oprah was still on the air.
Yeah.
Um, but you know what? Just there's always going to be haters, right? So there's a
No,
couple of like
not for this.
not so lovely
Not for
things,
this.
but you know what? I don't care. I
Yeah.
don't care
No, you can't
because
care.
it wasn't done for them. You know what I mean?
Right.
It was well, selfishly it was done for me, but yeah, it was all done for me. It was for my own edification, you know, of my history and who I am, and you know, all of that.
Where you came from and who you
Hmm.
came from.
That's
So
right.
so
We
every
all need to know that, right? Don't we all want to know that? That's kind of a
uh,
universal
and
thing.
art isn't supposed to be created for what other you think other people are good. It's authenticity and period. I mean, that's it. So this is a beautiful testament to your mother, Mama Cass Elliot, of the Mamas and the Papas. I'm sure everybody
Hmm.
knows that.
Hmm. You
Um,
know, they don't. What's really interesting to me is that this new generation um, doesn't know who the mamas and papas are.
my daughter
They
would,
know,
26.
yeah, well, but they'll know California Dreamin'. So that's the perfect, you know. They don't know the mamas and papas. They go, well, do you know the song California Dreamin'? And they'll be like, oh yeah, I know
Yeah.
that song. So
Hmm.
that's the perfect, like, you know, in.
segue. So
Perfect segue.
tell us what made I live in Laurel Canyon, so I feel like her
Hmm.
spirit is here because this is where she planted herself and opened her home, and you write
Hmm.
about that, and we also see that in a beautiful way in the Laurel Canyon documentaries, where
Oh
just
yeah.
everybody would come to her house. So
Yep.
what made you sit down and write this book, this moment in time in your life? Was there some
Well, I mean,
that
to be truthful, I've been writing this book off and on for 15 years. So um, just because I kind of thought about it 15 years ago, and I went, wow, I really want to tell her story.
Mhm,
And the reason why I got to that place, right, is that I felt that she, first of all, she didn't live long enough to be able to tell her own story. And there had been quite a few people over the years who had approached me and wanted to write a story about her, write a book about her, write a movie about her. And I was always very defensive with that. And I really, when I asked myself, why are you, having these feelings, I really was that I felt like it should be someone in our family, preferably me, be the one to tell her story. That's how I felt that it would feel right. And I still stand by that. I really think it was our job as her family to make sure that her story is told in a way that is, appropriate, but honest, but all of the above. So it really took, like I said, 15 years from like, oh my God, I really need to do this, to where we are right now with you holding that galley.
mhm.
Um, I think I guess it really ramped up during the pandemic because I was like, wow, I cannot let this period of time go by and not have anything to show for it. So that's when I think things really started ramping up. I was introduced to a fabulous agent by my management team, and we just have been off and going ever since. And my agent Jennifer at Avedas in New York, um, the interesting thing about Avedas is that all of the agents who work for them have all been editors. So she took these, like, 20 pages or so of stream of consciousness stuff that really was in no order whatsoever. And she started to put it in order. And she actually said to me, she said, you don't need to hire a writer. You can really do this yourself, which completely shocked me and bowled me over because I've never done anything like this in my life, and I was was and am very insecure about it because it's all brand new to me. But she said, no, no, no,
About
you
what?
you can
Insecure
you
about
can do
writing?
this.
Insecure,
Huh?
what do you
Oh
would
yeah.
really?
Well, this is my first thing I've done.
Mhm.
This is it. You know what I mean? So I have no frame of reference of, is it any good? Am I any good at it? Do I, it's just, this is the first project creatively that I've conceived of and actually completed. I'm really, really good at starting things, not so great at completing them,
Mhm.
I guess, in my life. So
Jen
this is kind of an anomaly in that way, that, oh my God, this is like, it's done. Now, had I been left to my own devices, maybe not so much. I mean, I needed to trust other people more than I trusted myself. You know what I mean? I think we all sort of have a little bit of an ego involved. And um, I really had to trust, for instance, my agent, who said, you can do this,
Mhm.
um, and go, okay, even if I wasn't feeling necessarily confident about it,
Right.
they were. So I
You
just had to go,
editor.
okay, well, I don't, this is not my specialty. So I'm going to just trust that they know what they're talking about. And
Well,
so
you're telling
far,
the truth.
that's worked out very well.
You're telling the truth. It's not like you're writing, brain surgery, like a
Correct.
novel,
Yeah.
and where's the flow and where's the plot. I mean, you're
Right.
telling the truth, and a great editor is so invaluable in, rearranging stuff.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I got
So that's,
beautiful sense of your mom. I would have loved to be her friend. Um, she's just so fun and
yeah.
nurturing and sensitive. And that voice, honestly, I hear myself these days. I hear myself being cynical. The algorithms are making everybody sound the same, and young women are trying to sound like other young women. And your mom's voice was just this contralto that was big and bold and
Yeah. Yeah.
ballsy.
Yeah.
Not like Janice, although she revered
Well,
Janice.
she had her own thing.
She had
She had her own
and
thing,
nobody sounded like her. So what is it you would want people to know? What is the thing you most want people to know about your mother?
Oh God, what a question. Uh, uh, that want people to know where she came from, how she had her own struggles in life. That, kind of, although she had this like really, happy-go-lucky earth mothery persona in public, that, on the flip side of that, she suffered as a result of what we now know and what now have a term for, fat shaming. you know the little digs that people would do, that and she just had to kind of let that stuff roll off her back,
She used humor.
um
You're right, she
and
used
used
humor.
humor. She used humor, and she was an extraordinarily lonely person in her life, and therein lies the reason for me being here. She went, well, I'll have a baby. She's not going to get up and walk away. And she felt like she could do that, and she
Mhm.
did it at a time that people were not having babies out of wedlock, and
Right.
certainly not single mothers. um, and I love that she took that chance, well, for obvious reasons, but I think it was pretty badass. I guess learning about my mom, the badass, was probably the
She was
coolest thing.
so
And one of the coolest thing I think I learned about her is that she knew what she wanted to do, in high school. She
yeah.
was telling her girlfriends, that great quote of, I'm going to be the most famous fat girl that ever lived. To know that and to then make it happen, right?
Well, she was a
That's
manifester.
pretty effing cool.
She
Yeah.
was a
Yeah.
manifester,
Uh-huh.
you know,
We
and
would term it like that today. Yes.
mhm, and sh honestly, Owen, all the women in my life, I've realized this a couple of years ago, all my
Mm.
closest girlfriends, they're manifestors, they make things happen, they don't take no for an answer. Those are the women in my life, but not the men so much. But this is
Well,
what
I
they
think
do.
that's something, that's generationally kind of new still for women to be, standing up for themselves and going, nope, not going to do this, or and whatever the conversation is, for women to now have a voice, which is really what my mom's generation fought for. They really fought for women to have an equal voice, and
Mhm.
to be, all of that stuff. And I mean, even, in terms of my mom's own story, the fact that she was a woman in a mostly male dominated business, regardless of weight. Like, we're not even talking about weight, we're talking about a woman doing what she did, and putting her friends together, introducing John Sebastian and Zalionowski, who created Love and Spoonful,
Graham Nash.
and Graham Nash and David Crosby and Stephen Stills, and whatever capacity. It's so funny because every one of them sort of has a different take on exactly where and exactly when and exactly how.
Course.
My mom is always the common denominator somewhere in there. So she, in some capacity, had something to do with those three guys,
Right.
singing together.
And
And that's magical.
Joni Mitchell would come over. Like, just
Crosby brought Joni over. He had just met her. He had just met her, and they had just done her first record. So that photograph where we're all sitting under the birch trees, is just a barbecue that my mom
right.
had, and David brought Joni over to introduce her to his friends.
Amazing.
And I guess
Oh,
my mom had met Eric Clapton somewhere, and it just kind of converged.
I want to drive by the specific house. Okay.
It's behind gates now, but yeah.
But where is it? What I know Carole King lived on
It's
Wonderland Park, right? And then where was
my mom's
it?
house was up at the top of the hill. It was right along Woodrow Wilson Drive, along a private driveway on Woodrow Wilson. And the driveway had one, two, three, four, I think 4 houses on it. My mom's was like the first one.
Mm-hmm.
And Sid Croft lives at the very top of the driveway, and he's lived there forever. And every day you'll see Sid Croft going up and down that driveway. The guy's in his 90s. And
Yeah.
he's going up and down, hilly driveways, and
People.
but that's, I guess, how you you get to be 90, right? Is to
keep living.
Continually do that stuff. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
It broke my heart a little bit that she never had a love of her life.
Oh,
She never really had.
that is one of the greatest tragedies of my mom's life, that she never ever got to experience what, having a really honestly equal, supportive,
mutually
loving, mutually, bitching relationship with another human being. She never got to have that.
Well,
and that's heartbreaking. That's heartbreaking to me that's something that she missed out on.
Yeah.
It definitely is one of those things that's the saddest part.
The music,
of her.
the singing was really the love of her life.
Yeah, for sure.
And it seems that anytime anybody tried to deny her a spot in the band, they'd hear her sing, and she was in. They just heard that voice and her presence.
I think she was insistent to, when she really believed in something and she really, thought it was the right thing. She was insistent on whatever that was, and certainly I would imagine singing with the band had that same, effect.
Yeah.
She would sing when they were down in the Virgin Islands, she was calling in her parts. She was singing her parts from her waitress job in the same restaurant. So, and because she could really project,
why don't they do it?
It all sounded great.
Why don't they do like a biopic on her?
It's all up for negotiation and discussion, because I know that, we've tried to get a film about the Mamas and the Papas done, kind of upteen times, and that's just never stuck for whatever reason, and it's also one of the reasons.
You go on, Netflix is like there's a doc there on every band.
I know. We're working on a doc for my mom. We're contracted to a company in England who's developing it, so we'll have a documentary.
Yeah.
Probably within a year or so, I would imagine.
I also think it
and the writer's strike, of course, it's really kind of slowed everything down.
But I think it would also be, aside from a doc, a great, fun, loving musical film, biopic about.
Oh yeah, no, it would be amazing, and I really,
somebody who could play her.
Who? I wouldn't do it.
Why?
Because I'm too old. My mom was 32 when she died.
Okay.
I just had my 57th birthday. It's a bit of a stretch. But there are lots of really talented young women out there. And when the time comes, we'll find the best of those women.
Yes, we will. Um, it really also was heartbreaking, the part where you go to camp and she goes to London
Yeah.
and she packs you up. I love you and I'm going to see you so soon. And then she passes away. And it was
Hmm.
grandma, right?
Yes.
Had
My
an
mother's mother.
How do you tell a child that? She said she's not coming. And I mean, I'm
She
getting
said she wasn't coming home,
teary-eyed.
you
And
know,
and
and I didn't buy it.
right.
I didn't buy it because I had grown up with my normal existence, my mom traveling all the time, and she would always come back, you know. So I thought to myself, well, geez, you guys are all wrong. You don't have any idea. I do. I know she always comes back. So I had a little bit of a time, you know, wrapping my head around the finality of it, you know, and I really did spend a little bit of time in fantasy, you know, again, because that was my normal in terms of like she's out of town, she'll be back,
And then
you
as
know.
time went on, as the weeks went on and she wasn't coming back and she didn't come
Hmm.
back, how did
Well, I
you
guess at some point I stopped. I don't remember when, you know, at some point I just sort of accepted it, I guess. Oh, here's Jack.
Hi, Jack.
He'll come around. He's just got magazines. He went and got
I'm
the People
sure
magazine.
that your husband and my friend Jack. Hi,
Come
Jack.
on, how cute is this? Well, first of
My
all, how,
friend and Owen's other half, who just went out to buy People magazine because, let's see.
oh my God, no,
And
it's
I'm sure that Jack egged
93.
you on to do this when you were feeling resistant, Owen.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry, repeat it.
Sure that Jack egged you on to keep going when you were feeling like, can I do this?
Oh yeah, yeah. He was supportive the whole way,
Yeah.
and there wasn't a lot of um stops and starts per se. I mean, there wasn't. I was really kind of shocked. I thought this was going to be a lot more difficult than it was. I mean, I hate to say that people are going to hate me for that, but um, it just kind of came out.
I hear
You know what
you.
I mean?
I hear you
I mean,
because
there was a point that I did kind of become aware that I was avoiding doing the work, and I was like, "Geez, what is happening? That this is like a bummer for you." And I realized that we were at the point in the story when my mom was going to pass away,
oh, who wants to tell that story?
and that's why I kind of went, "Oh, ooh, okay, yeah."
And you did let's see the article. And then you also did
Well,
an audiobook, right? Oh,
here's the
beautiful. Oh,
article,
she's darling. She's darling. Amazing.
and then
Amazing. Oh, this is in People, right?
People magazine. It is the
Magazine for May. Is it May or
week of May 13th.
right?
It's it just literally hit the newsstands like today.
Amazing. So exciting.
So it's very exciting. It's
Yeah.
very surreal. I'm not going to lie. It's very, very surreal. It's incredible for all that it's worth, but it is definitely, it,
Well,
it definitely feels very heady. It's very,
mm,
you know, it's
well,
cool
it's
though.
a big project to take on, you know.
Yeah.
And when the books arrive in that box and you're like, oh my God, there it is, you know.
Oh yeah. No, absolutely. I went through that. But you know what? Now we can see. Now we'll hopefully I'll get to see people enjoying it and reading it and
Yeah.
go through that part of it, you know. And I'm going to do an appearance at the Diesel bookstore
Yes.
in Brentwood the
Okay.
day after the book comes out. So the book comes
Okay.
out on the 7th. So the event at Diesel is the 8th,
Okay.
and one of my I have sort of a surprise secret guest who's going to interview me for the
Amazing.
Diesel thing. A fellow Laurel Canyon DNA person. That's about as far
Okay.
as I can go.
All right.
Um, so I'm going to do that. So that's a signing, and they said, you know, feel free to kind of use it as a book launch. I'm like, okay. So you're welcome to come if you want.
I'm going to try to be there. And if people are
Yeah,
local, they could
yeah,
come
yeah,
and
yeah.
get
Local
a signed
people,
copy.
LA people.
Sign books? You gonna sign
I'm
them?
going to sign books. They're going to have books there. Yeah, it's exciting. It's like, here we go.
There we go. So,
Yeah,
Owen, I love you. Thank you for talking with me. And I just gotta say, a beautiful Mother's Day gift from you
I
to your
agree.
mother, and a beautiful Mother's Day gift from any child to their mother to show them they love them as much as you loved your mother.
Oh, yeah, it's very true. It's so sweet of you to say that. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I can't wait to finish it. I don't have that much more.
Yay.
All
Well,
right,
enjoy
mama.
it.
All right,
Thank
mama.
you for everything.
My
I'll
pleasure.
talk to you
All right.
soon.
I'll see you next week at Diesel.
Yes.
Yeah.
See you there. Bye.